Welcome to Mediumship Moments with psychic medium Kim Durham. Join her as she shares her personal journey with mediumship, connects with your loved ones, and discusses topics dealing with spirituality.
Hey everybody, I'm Kim Durham. I am a second-gen psychic medium, and welcome to my podcast, Mediumship Moments. I'm so glad you could join me today. I want to say thank you to everybody who's written us and told me that they love the podcast. You can check me out on Instagram at Mediumship Moments, Kim Durham. If you have any questions, we are having giveaways coming up for some free tickets to my upcoming events, both virtual and in person. More details to follow. Keep your eyes peeled to the Instagram page for that. So today I'm going to finish up the three clairs. I had spoken previously about being clairaudient, which is the ability to connect and receive information by your inner ear, your psychic ear, as some people call it. And I also talked about being clairvoyant, which is the ability to see those that have crossed over or to see images linked to the psychic ability. Like, for instance, I had an angel come forward and he showed me a scroll. It was actually a treasure map, and X marks the spot. Well, here, this person, unbeknownst to me, loved to go treasure hunting. And that's what it was. So that's one ability. But it's called the three clairs, right? Clairaudient, being able to hear information by that psychic or inner ear. And then clairvoyant, being able to see images psychically that connect. Those images that connect with things that you've seen. Like I talked about images that they showed me with the scroll. There's all kinds of ways, especially when I work on cases, how that clairvoyant ability comes forward. And some days, one of my clairs is stronger than the other. But today, we're going to talk about clairsentient. I know, easy for me to say. Now, that's an ability that not a lot of people realize they have until I talk about it. And you may be going, I can do that. So it's likely that you've been using this psychic ability for quite some time and not realized that you had it. So what is it, right? So clairsentience is what's called the French definition of it is a clear feeling. So it's this clear feeling or clear knowing. And like I said, it's linked to emotions. So people don't often know that they have it, especially you empaths out there. Good luck, because they tend to take on the feelings of other people, right? And they don't know why. Like, you ever been in a crowd? Like, if I go to the airport, let's just say, and we're all nervous, and in fact, I'm heading there tomorrow. Wish me luck. And you're nervous about getting on the flight, and do I have my ticket? Is everything ready to go? That anxiety. I go in there and I have to have my earbuds on, and I usually wear a mask because I don't want to catch whatever people have. I'm not a germaphobe, just a little immunosuppressed. And I put the earphones on so I'm not picking up. I actually do a bit of a ritual visualization to protect myself from picking up everybody's energy of being anxious, right, to get on the flight. So it's a clear feeling, but a lot of people use the clairsentient as a gut feeling. So did you ever, instead of hearing voices or seeing things, it's that gut feeling, this inner knowingness, if you will. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're getting off from work and you work in town, an urban setting, maybe a city setting, and it's 6:30. It's dark. It's in the fall. And you usually cut down an alleyway to get to the parking lot. But this time, as you went to walk towards the alley, you had this gut feeling. No, you know what? I'm going to go around the corner. And I'm going to go maybe get a cup of coffee or a hot chocolate. Yeah, that's where I'm going to go. Yeah. And maybe you had this knowingness that I just don't want to go that way. Or you felt pulled in another direction. That is your clairsentience, that inner knowing, that gut feeling, stopping you from walking down that alleyway to take the shortcut to the parking lot. And then a couple of days later, in the news, you see there was a mugging. Somebody got robbed. I'm not saying it could have been you, but that gut feeling was telling you not to go down that way. So You gather, if you're clairsentient, you gather or perceive information and energy through feelings. Like, I just don't like that idea. Do you ever have that? I actually run my business this way, and you're thinking you're crazy. We'll have an opportunity maybe to do an event or to work with someone. I can see psychically just through an email. And you're like, how do you do that? Not quite sure. But I'll read an email, and let's say we're going to do an event, and I'll chat with my event coordinator and go, I just have a gut feeling that this event is going to be difficult, or some form of doing this event is going to be difficult. And so I'm not quite sure I want to move forward. Let's have an initial phone call. Let's see how things happen. But my gut's telling me this event is not going to come to fruition. Well, I can't tell you how many times I've been right about that. It's not about, but my team has learned to listen to me when I have those kind of feelings, right? Haven't you all had them? I'm sure you have, right? There's just maybe we shouldn't go that way. I tease about that Halloween, Jason, he's in the tool shed with the meat cleaver. Somebody did a parody of one of the, I think, insurance companies did a parody of that scene. And the girl turns around, she goes, I don't think we should go in there. And he's just shaking his head going, probably not. Well, that's her using her gut or intuitive ability or her clairsentient to not go in the shed because Jason's there, So also, and this is something that I tapped into a little bit earlier, is that you get this understanding through emotional feelings, right? So the anxiety I pick up with people at the airport. Yes. And it's the vibrations of the surrounding as well. And it's not just reading the room. I give an example. I think I talked about this before, but I'd said that my team listens to me when I say, I'm not so sure, or, I have a gut feeling this is going to move forward. Well, I had a situation where I saw a person walking down my street, and we were pulling out in the car. I said to my wife, yeah, he's gonna rob the house next to us. And she's like, what? We're just pulling out of the driveway. What? That guy up there? And yeah, he's gonna use something from our house to make that happen. So we pulled out, we went around the corner. It's 2 small blocks. And she says to me, do you still feel that way? I said, yep. She goes, get on the phone. We hadn't actually gotten back there yet. That's how wonderfully supportive she is. So we're flying around the corner. I'm on the phone, get the police, pull up. Sure enough, guess what he's doing? Yeah, he's stealing something from our house, a piece of wood. Yeah, that we had for the fencing that we had just installed. And there was a couple of pieces there on the side. This guy grabbed that, went over, was trying to break into their house. And I'm on the phone. She jumps out of the car. I'm like, I don't get back in there. He could have a gun. He didn't. Yes, they apprehended him. And that was that sixth sense, that knowingness, that gut feeling. And there may have been a little clairvoyant with it, because sometimes when I see things happen that are not good, untoward events, I call them speed bumps in our life, right? Arguments, conflict over a contract, maybe, maybe a speeding ticket, something or a fender bender. I'll often see it when my clients sit with me as a loop of video, like a small little clip. But this, I could absolutely follow my gut and knew that this was not going to bode well for our neighbor. So people that are clairsentient talk about the sixth sense. And have you had an experience, like you didn't want to drive that way home that time. You just thought, no, let's go this way. I do that a lot. If my gut pulls me in a certain direction driving, I follow it. I absolutely follow it. Maybe my angels are trying to keep me out of trouble, right? So I supposed to go that way, or I was supposed to be detained, or something along that way. And now, do I make all my decisions that way? No. But if I'm pulled by my gut, absolutely. So I want you to listen to your gut, right? I just don't have the cornerstone on this. You guys do too. So remember that this being clairsentient or having clairsentience is that nagging feeling that something's lingering, right? Even when there's not like a rational explanation for it. I often tell people this: if you have to make a decision, a major decision, that you sit someplace quiet, take a nice slow deep breath, and then say that decision out loud. I need to do such and such. Just sit with it for a minute and do a gut check. How's your gut feeling? Are you vacillating? Before I understood this ability, I would vacillate. Nine times out of 10, I'd be wrong because I vacillated. That's the second child of me, trying to make everybody happy. But anyway, just sit with it for a moment. And if it doesn't sit right in your gut, don't do it. Now, people who are professional mediums or psychic mediums, right? Psychics can sense energy of people, places, and opportunity. Mediums can receive energy from those that are crossed. They're not the only people that do this. There are well-known billionaires, successful people in business. Oprah, she's one of those people that does a gut check. And if it feels right in her gut, she proceeds with those decisions. Richard Branson of the Virgin Airlines, he uses this ability a lot. To sit and trust his gut instincts, his clairsentience over making a decision. So, if you've got that good feeling about it, gut check and proceed. If something doesn't sit right with you, honor this ability that you have. Okay. And empaths out there, Lordy, you've got to watch when you are around other people who make this difficult. Now, what do I mean? So, for instance, when you're contemplating something and it gives you the unease, right? We talked about not knowing. You have to make that decision, right? And move forward with it. Don't try and make other people happy or make the situation fit for this to be a positive decision. If you sit, nice, slow, deep breath, sit with that decision. How does it feel? Feels right, you move on. If it doesn't, you've made your decision. Don't vacillate. Don't try to make other people happy. Now, when you dwell on that decision, especially if it's a decision that doesn't bode well for you, right? You did the gut check, you're vacillating. You're like, well, if I do this and then if I do that, and it'll work out, won't it? And you vacillate, right? That energy drain can actually make you feel unwell. It can. So let's not deplete our battery any more than it has to be. Okay? Make the decision and move forward. Do you ever sit in somebody's presence and you felt off? You ever have that feeling? Just, I worked with somebody and I would try my damnedest not to be in her presence. There was just something about her energy that I just couldn't be around. There's been a few people in my life that I couldn't work with them. Now, energetically, I'm not saying they were evil. I'm just saying energetically, their energy was off. And they gave me the heebie-jeebies. You ever get the heebie-jeebies? That's Kim speak for, nope, not today, not today. Some people, though, that have that off energy, it could be due to addictions, whether that's alcohol or some type of drug, and alcohol is a drug. I'm not saying it's separate, but there's gambling addiction. That's a big one. I see that in a lot of my young clients, my young male clients that are newly married, um, um, and are battling with gambling addiction. It's so easy to do now on the phone. But any kind of addiction will really pull your own energy, whether or not you're clairsentient. But if you feel it, you feel like you're with somebody whose presence is off. It's just, I call them energy vampires. Their energy, because they're not creating positive energy within their own auric field. So they quite literally are pulling it from other people. I know this sounds a little Birkenstock and tree hugging, but it's true. And quite often when people send me photographs of people that are in their life and they're like, is he a good person? Is she a good person? I'm like, wow, they're bright and bubbly and, have an incredible career, but they're battling addiction. And it's going to cause their life to be one step forward, two steps back. So if anybody's out there battling depression, addiction, find help. It's out there. Gamblers Anonymous, right? In the state of New Jersey, you cannot lose your job for seeking therapy and treatment for addiction. So go be your own advocate. But again, people that are clairsentient, and they also can know when people are saying that they're happy and they're not. You have that one friend who tries to put on a good faith and you just feel something's off. You just feel something's off. Maybe they just got into an argument with their loved one earlier in the day, or they got some bad news at work or something, but they're trying to put on that happy face and you just know something's not right. I had a situation where psychically I was feeling that somebody was not having a good day. So I reached out to them, sent them a quick little text. Actually, it was a meme that I saw that reminded me of them. And here they were having a bad day, really bad day. And they loved the meme. It made them giggle, little laughter lifts vibrational energy. So watch a funny movie, go to a comedy show. And she was ever thankful that I thought of her. It was just a quick little moment, sent it her way, and brightened her day a little bit. But I could feel that she was having a bad day. So clairsentience or clairsentient is the sensitivity to energy, whether it's from the environment, the airport, maybe you walk into somebody's house, just doesn't feel happy. It's not you. It's your ability, that sixth sense, that gut feeling something's off. So if your gut's telling you not to go down that alleyway or take a different path home, follow it, listen to it. We all have this ability. I don't have the quarter market on it, but use it to help guide some decisions in your life and see how you do. So I thank you for taking a moment to listen to me today. I want to, as I always like to leave you with a mediumship moment, a day in the life of me, or something that happened that I give you a glimpse in what it's like to be a psychic medium. So I had a client come and sit with me, and her mother came through. Now, this client was on the younger side. You're like, what is younger? Well, 30-ish. I'll just say that. And her mother came through, and her mother crossed young. Damn it. She was pissed. She was pissed that she was crossing. And I say that she went to the doctors for some test, for some kind of ailment, just something follow-up test. And from those tests, actually, they found cancer. And they gave her a diagnosis of less than 5 months to live, 3 to 5 months. Boy, she was pissed. She's like, her daughter had just become a new mom. It just didn't seem right, right? Just doesn't seem right. So the client showed me, well, the mother came through and showed me she was at the hospital. And she was with her mom, both at the testing and when her mom crossed through hospice, which all of you out there in hospice nurses, doctors, caregivers, aides, you're earthbound angels. You're just the best. So the mom kept showing me symbols about how she was trying to get in touch with her daughter. And I asked the daughter, I said, do you feel your mom's presence around? Sometimes you can feel that chill. Or sometimes, and I know feathers. In fact, I just found one today in my middle bedroom. I'm allergic to feathers. I know it was my dad. He's been around a lot lately, and that seems to be one of his favorite ways. But anyway, the mother who had crossed was trying to get in touch with the daughter. She kept showing me the mother, symbols, feathers, cardinal. I said, is your mom resonated with any of those signs? She said, no. And I said, well, she keeps trying to get your attention. She goes, oh, I wish she would. And with that, the mother showed me, pointed to her ear, and then a ringing of a bell. I was like, okay, and this is how your angels work with me. It's kind of like charades. They show me symbols and make me feel something, make me hear something. It's for me to interpret and then pass along. So I said to my client, I said, have you heard a bell ringing recently? And she kind of chuckled. She said, I've been having these moments of my ears ringing. And I said, your mother is showing me this, that's her trying to get through to you. I said, you could be having what's called like a bit of a breakthrough for clairaudient. It kind of sounds like that, either ears ringing or the crackling of like a radio station being tuned in. There's all different ways people have heard how this ability starts. I said, well, your mom is ringing your ears to let you know she's with you. And she said, especially when she's holding on to her mom's objects. And I was like, this is your mom. This is your mom letting you know that she's with you. So then this mother came through. At the end of the reading, she showed me another symbol. She showed me Florence Nightingale. Now, recently I had a dear friend cross who was a colleague of mine. And for her, at her memorial, I had asked the Florence Nightingale National Honor Guard to come and honor my friend. So I was seeing symbolically the nurses with the cap, the black cape, blue cape with the red lining, holding the lamp with the candle. And so I said to my client, I said, your mom keeps showing me Florence Nightingale. Boom. My client starts to break down crying. You see, her mom was a nurse. And she was born, her mother, on Florence Nightingale's birthday. And her hospice nurse's birthday was also on that birthday that her mother and Florence Nightingale shared. So she was showing me that she was honored to be cared for by a nurse who was also connected to Florence Nightingale. So, as I often say, your angels, your loved ones are just beautiful in the way that they communicate. And I keep saying, as always, keep chatting with your angels because they can hear you. Thanks for listening to another Mediumship Moments. Hi, today's episode on Mediumship Moments was brought to you by Erica Cosgrove. Now, she is a realtor, she's a broker, and a salesperson at Innovate Realty. That's in Mullica Hill, New Jersey. So whether you're looking to buy or sell or even invest in real estate in the South Jersey area, Erica's the person you should call. And how you can get in contact with her is give her a ring at 856-630-0748. That's 856-630-0748. Erica Cosgrove. And let her know Kim Durham sent you. I have something special for my listeners. The first 10 people who purchase a ticket to the August 21st Virtual Spirit Circle and use the promo code MOMENTS at checkout will receive 10% off their ticket. That's right. Just use the code MOMENTS in all caps and be one of the first 10 to grab your spot.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time for another episode of Mediumship Moments. If you enjoyed this episode of Kim's podcast, check her out on Instagram and TikTok at Kim Durham Medium.